How French women achieve effortless beauty. French women over 60 do not look older than 45, and it has nothing to do with money, and it has nothing to do with surgery. Walk through any market in Paris on a Tuesday morning and you will see her. Silver hair catching the light, skin that looks lit from underneath, moving through the stalls like she has nowhere to rush to. She is not hiding her age. She is not fighting it either. She simply never learned to see it as something to fight. I spent months studying why this generation of women ages the way they do, comparing what they eat, what they put on their skin, how they dress, how they move, and even how they sleep. And the truth is almost disappointing in how simple it is. There is no secret product. There is no procedure behind closed doors. There are habits, small and repeated, passed down without anyone ever calling them a routine. Today, I am going to walk you through every one of them, one at a time, and by the end, you will have a real doable plan to bring this same effortless beauty into your own life, starting this week, not someday. Let's start with something that surprises almost everyone. French women over 60 barely diet, and most of them have never counted a calorie in their entire life. Their secret is not restriction, it is ritual. The average French lunch stretches past an hour. No phone on the table, no eating at a desk, no standing at the counter finishing a plate in 4 minutes between errands. They sit down, they use real plates even when they are completely alone, and they eat slowly enough to actually taste what's in front of them. Here is why this matters for your body specifically. After 60, it takes roughly 20 minutes for your brain to register that you are full. When you eat in 5 minutes, you blow straight past that signal and keep going long after your body actually needed you to stop. When you eat for 30 or 40 minutes instead, your body has time to send that signal, so you naturally eat less without ever forcing yourself to. There is also a cultural rule that keeps portions in check without a single rule ever being stated out loud. Food is rich, but portions are small, and there is rarely a second helping poured just to fill the silence. A little butter, a little cheese, a small glass of wine, and then it stops there. Nothing is forbidden, so nothing is craved in secret the way restricted foods so often are. Here is your action step for today. At your very next meal, put your fork down completely between every single bite. Just that one small habit slows your eating enough to trigger natural fullness, and you can start it in the next 24 hours with zero cost and zero change to what you're actually eating. The second secret explains something you have probably noticed but never quite understood. Most French women over 60 wear almost no visible makeup, and yet their skin looks luminous both on camera and in person. This is not about hiding effort, it's about redirecting where that effort goes. Instead of layering foundation, concealer, setting powder, and contour every single morning, they spend that same time and money on skincare that actually changes the skin underneath rather than covering what's already there. A tinted day cream, a single swipe of mascara, sometimes a little balm on the lips, and that is the entire routine on most ordinary days. The logic behind this is simple. Makeup sits on top of tired skin and eventually just draws more attention to texture and fine lines rather than hiding them. Healthy, well-cared-for skin needs almost nothing layered on top of it to look beautiful in the first place. What they invest in instead is consistency, not more product. The same gentle cleanser every single night without fail, not because it's expensive, but because it never gets skipped even when they're exhausted, even when they're traveling with no space in the suitcase. Consistency for 10 years quietly beats an expensive product used enthusiastically for only 10 days. Here is your action step. Pick one skincare habit you already have and commit to never skipping it, not even once, for the next 30 days. Not adding more steps, not buying anything new, just protecting the one habit you already own from being abandoned on the nights you're tired. The third secret is the one that surprised me the most, because it goes directly against almost everything sold to us as modern anti-aging skincare. French women over 60 tend to avoid heavily synthetic, artificially fragranced foaming products the same way they avoid processed food at the table, and they lean instead on ingredients their own grandmothers would recognize. A bar of Aleppo soap, made from olive oil and laurel berry oil, used with a natural loofah instead of a plastic exfoliating pad that can micro-tear delicate skin. Rosewater used as a toner instead of an alcohol-based one that strips the skin's natural barrier. Rosehip oil at night, prized for generations in French skincare long before it ever became trendy anywhere else, used specifically to soften the appearance of scars and even out-tone slowly over time. None of this is expensive, and none of it requires a 12-step routine imported from anywhere else. What it requires is choosing fewer, gentler products and trusting them to work slowly instead of switching to something new the moment you don't see overnight results. Your skin barrier, especially after 60, naturally thins and becomes more reactive, so harsh foaming cleansers and aggressive actives can genuinely work against you, causing more irritation and dryness than they ever solve. Here is your action step for this week. Replace just one harsh product in your current routine, most likely your cleanser or your toner, with a gentler, simpler alternative, and give your skin a full 30 days before judging whether it worked. The fourth secret is about the body, not the face, and it's the one people notice from across the room before they notice anything else about a woman at all. French women over 60 tend to stand and move differently, and it changes how age reads on them almost instantly. Shoulders back, chin level, a steady, unhurried walk that never looks rushed even when she's late. This is not vanity, it's habit. Built quietly from decades of walking as actual transportation rather than exercise squeezed awkwardly into a busy schedule. Walking to the boulangerie every morning, walking to meet a friend for coffee, walking simply because the metro stop is 6 blocks away and that's just how the day is structured. This kind of daily, low-intensity movement keeps joints mobile and posture upright in a way that occasional intense workouts often can't match because it's consistent day after day rather than sporadic and exhausting. Poor posture adds visible years to anyone at any age because it changes the entire silhouette, rounds the shoulders forward, and shortens the appearance of the neck. Good posture does the exact opposite instantly, with zero cost and zero products required. Here is your action step. Every single time you catch yourself sitting or standing today, do one simple check, roll your shoulders back and down, and lift your chin just very slightly. Do this 10 separate times today, and within 2 or 3 weeks, it genuinely starts to become automatic. The fifth secret is about sleep, and almost nobody covers this one, even though it might matter more than anything on this list so far. French women over 60 tend to protect their evenings the way most people protect their mornings. A defined end to the day, often the same time every single night, with very little screen time in the final hour before bed. This isn't some elaborate ritual with candles and 10 products. It's usually just a cup of tisane, an actual book instead of a phone, and a room kept cool and genuinely dark. Poor sleep after 60 doesn't just leave you tired, it visibly shows up on the face in puffiness around the eyes, in dull skin tone, and in a kind of tension held in the jaw and forehead that no cream can fully soften. Deep, consistent sleep is when skin actually repairs itself overnight, which is precisely why an expensive night cream applied on top of 5 broken hours of sleep will never outperform 7 honest hours with nothing on the skin at all. Here is your action step. Pick one screen you currently look at right before bed and remove it from that final hour tonight, just for one night, and notice how differently you wake up tomorrow morning. Now, here is something almost nobody talks about when they cover French beauty, and it might genuinely be the most important secret on this entire list. It has nothing to do with products or diet or sleep. It's about how these women relate to their own reflection in the mirror. French women over 60 were never taught to view aging as a decline that needed to be disguised at all cost. It was simply understood as the next stage of life, expected, unremarkable, nothing to apologize for at a dinner table or in a photograph. This single mental shift changes behavior in a very real, measurable way. Women who are actively fighting their own age tend to overcorrect, too much filler, too much makeup, trying to erase every single line at once, too much product layered on out of quiet anxiety rather than genuine care for the skin. And ironically, that overcorrection is very often what ages a face faster rather than what protects it. The women who age most beautifully are usually not the ones doing the most. They are the ones doing the same simple things consistently without panic for years at a time. This is genuinely the hardest secret on this list to copy because it isn't a product or a 5-step routine, it's a mindset. But that mindset is exactly what makes every other habit on this list actually stick for years instead of quietly fading out after a couple of motivated weeks. Let me give you a concrete example of what that mindset actually looks like in practice, because it's easy to nod along to this idea and then forget it by tomorrow morning. Picture two women, both 65, both with the exact same fine lines around their eyes. One spends every morning studying those lines in a magnifying mirror, layering product after product, trying to make them disappear entirely, and quietly feeling a small defeat every single day when they're still there. The other glances in the mirror, applies her simple cream, and moves on with her actual life, because to her, those lines were never the problem to begin with. 10 years later, guess which one looks more at ease in her own skin and ironically more youthful in her energy and expression? It was never really about the lines themselves. It was about which of them got to occupy her attention all day, every day for a decade. That is the entire secret, hiding in plain sight the whole time. The seventh secret is about the wardrobe. And it ties every single thing we've covered so far together into one final piece. French women over 60 generally do not own a lot of clothes, but everything they do own fits them perfectly and works seamlessly with everything else already hanging in their closet. A neutral base of maybe 5 core colors, a small number of genuinely high-quality pieces bought to last for years rather than one single season, and almost no impulse buying driven by a passing sale. This eliminates decision fatigue every single morning before it even starts, and it means every outfit looks intentionally put together because the individual pieces were chosen to be put together from the very beginning, not assembled in a rush. There's also a quiet rule most of them follow without ever stating it out loud. Fit matters infinitely more than trend ever will. A perfectly tailored, simple blazer will always look more expensive and more flattering than a trendy piece that doesn't quite fit right in the shoulders or the waist. Here is your action step. Before you buy anything new this month, go through your own closet first and identify your 5 best colors, the ones that genuinely work with your skin tone and with each other. And commit to buying only within that palette going forward from today. Let's bring all of this together now, because on their own, these are just small, ordinary habits, but stacked together year after year, they compound into something that looks from the outside like effortless beauty that simply arrived on its own. Eating slowly enough to actually feel full, rather than finishing a plate out of habit. A simple skincare routine that's protected from being skipped, rather than constantly upgraded and abandoned. Gentle, natural ingredients trusted to work slowly over time instead of harsh ones chasing an instant result that never lasts. Daily walking and genuine posture awareness that keeps the entire body looking lifted without a single expensive intervention. Real, protected sleep instead of an expensive cream applied on top of 5 exhausted hours. A wardrobe built from fewer, better pieces that removes decision fatigue before the day even begins. And underneath every single one of those habits, a mindset that treats aging as something to move through with grace rather than something to hide from in a quiet panic every morning in the mirror. If you only take one single thing from this video, let it be this. Pick just one secret from everything we covered today. The meal pacing, the simplified skincare, the posture check, the protected sleep, whichever one felt easiest for you specifically right now, and give it a full 30 days before you decide whether or not it actually works. Because that is genuinely how every one of these women built the look you've been admiring for years. One small habit, protected quietly and consistently, not for weeks, but for decades. If this helped you see aging differently today, hit subscribe to Radiant Women Official right now, because next I'm breaking down exactly how Italian women over 60 approach beauty, and their number one secret might genuinely surprise you even more than everything you just heard.